Third Eye Fitness coming at you, talking about natural bodybuilding. Is natural bodybuilding dead? So, I'm going to go over some pros and cons of my lifetime natural career in bodybuilding, fitness, such and such. I think natural bodybuilding in the competitive sense is a lot smaller, not as hyped up as the non-drug tested competitions, for the plain reason that you're just not going to get as big if you're natural. That doesn't mean you can't put on muscle. You can still make great gains being a natty, more meaningful gains in my opinion if you're a natty, but it's definitely on a smaller scale if we're talking strictly competitions and the sport of bodybuilding. Now, I'm not here to judge those who decide to use anabolics, sarms, etc. I just think if you're trying to build a healthy physique or even a strong physique, you can do it naturally. You don't need anabolics. If you're trying to make it to the Olympia stage, you're probably going to need anabolics. That's just what it is. That's the world we live in. But some of the things that I've really enjoyed being a natty my entire lifting career is I feel like the gains that I do make, because they're slower, are more meaningful to me. I take a lot of pride in the muscle that I've built, and I feel like I'm stronger and healthier because I started this fitness journey. If I started taking anabolics, I don't know if I would have those same thoughts, especially with the health. I think, there are people that are monitored by their doctors regularly and they can minimize the risks, side effects with anabolics, steroids, SARMs, stuff like that. But I think more people are abusing them and not getting tested regularly, not checking in with their doctors. So, some of the reasons I've stayed away is there's been some pro bodybuilders recently that have dropped dead due to heart attacks or other quote unquote suspicious reasons. And I think anabolics plays a part in that. When you take these things, they make your muscles grow, but they also have been shown to make your heart and other organs grow as well, which can increase your chance of heart attacks and various other health issues that come along with it. I started this fitness path because I wanted to live a healthier lifestyle. So for me, anabolics were never in the question for me. Um, Also, one thing I like about being natural is the muscle that you do make, you generally can hold on to it longer. When you're using drugs to build muscle, it's kind of dependent on those drugs. So when you stop taking them, I've seen guys lose a tremendous amount of size in a very quick amount of time because they had to stop using for whatever reason. They can also wreak havoc on your natural hormone production because you're supplementing it with, an external form of hormones that your body tells itself it doesn't need to keep producing its own. So what happens sometimes is people end up having to be on TRT the rest of their life, and they have to depend on an external form of hormones just to live, just to maintain themselves. I never wanted to be that. So for me, like I said, it was no question on whether I wanted to mess with anabolics or not. The point I really want to drive home is if you are going to use this stuff, try to at least build a foundation before you do. I think a lot of people don't understand the concept of nutrition and diet, how that plays a role in building muscle and even lifting too, and resistance training. And so, if you don't have those down, I don't think anabolics are going to do what you think they're going to do. You're not going to look like Chris Bumstead just because you hop on some trend. He clearly has the knowledge, and I look back on his younger photos when he was natty. He was genetically gifted and clearly knew what he was doing before he ever had to take it to the next level, quote unquote. So, really try to get your foundation down. Try to understand if there are things you can improve on before hopping on any of that stuff. I think for most people, nutrition especially, people don't have dialed in as well as they could have. So, I think a lot of people that don't even look like they're taking anabolics will take anabolics and think it's going to make them look like these pro bodybuilders and stuff. And it's really kind of sad to me. Really try to reach your genetic potential, which I think 99% of the population, even in this fitness bodybuilding scene, haven't come close to doing. So, yeah. I'm going to throw in SARMs too, because I don't think these things are beneficial. They're so new. We haven't really done studies on a lot of these research chemicals that are coming out. And so I personally don't consider SARMs natty, because they do affect your hormones. I've heard of people having their body shut down just from SARMs, in the same way that anabolics do. I think you might be even safer taking anabolic steroids than SARMs, just because there's been studies and research done on those. Not as much as I would like, but there is some studies out there. There's more of a track record with them. Some of that track record's not good, but there's at least a track record. As opposed to SARMs, they're such a new thing. It might be 10, 20 years before we find out some sketchy stuff about them. So, natties are out there. You can build a great physique being natural. I definitely don't claim to be the biggest guy. I can't hang next to pro bodybuilders and stuff like that use anabolics. But I've built a healthy, strong foundation through my body, and I feel good. And I'm not worried about, being dependent on a substance to keep the muscle that I've built over all these years. Now, natural bodybuilding is a slow game. It's a game of patience. I can see the appeal, especially in this culture where we want everything immediately, why so many people jump on anabolics, even at a young age, which I think is really sad. But if you put in the reps, you put in the work, you get your nutrition dialed in, which looks different for everyone, by the way, you can make gains, and you can keep making gains year after year. And, don't let these guys who've hopped on anabolics early in their career tell you that the only way to put on muscle and get big is by using drugs, because, myself and some of my closest friends have amazing physiques, and we're lifelong natties. So, yeah, stay natty, brothers, sisters. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You help this channel grow. If you have any topics you want me to cover, feel free to let me know. Yeah, thank you guys so much.